Hello everyone, welcome to day 3 of 30 days Excel challenge. So I'm so much excited today. So thank you very much for the overwhelming response that I have got. So today we are going to discuss about conditional clauses. So generally what happens is sometimes we will be having data like this. Imagine we are working as an accountant in a school or college. As you can see here, this data is nothing but name of the students, marks they have scored in different individual subjects. Like Elias is a student. He has got 85 marks in mathematics, 78 in English, and he has scored 92 in science. Likewise, we have got the data of 8 to 10 different people. Suppose if a school principal wants to know whether the student has passed the examination or failed. So he wants to know the status, whether he has passed the examination or failed. Imagine the first most important thing here to calculate is total number of marks. As every one of you know, formula for calculating the total number of marks. But before proceeding further, I just wanted to convert this piece of information into table. So I press Ctrl T after selecting, I click OK, then I got it. Now let me add a column with a name status here. So this column will show me whether the student has passed the examination or failed. So let me make a small correction here. Instead of directly typing status, let me first calculate the total. So as you know, we can sum these three cells to arrive at the total marks that a particular student has achieved. See, we can calculate the sum of this cell and this cell. I'm doing the same. The total is printed out here. Now the thing is, I just wanted to know the status based on total. The school has a particular way of calculating the past status of students. Suppose here you can see there is a condition here. If the total marks of an individual crosses 220, he will be declared pass. If the total marks of an individual does not cross 220, he will be declared as fail. So we have the total marks with us. So let us calculate it. So one such way of doing it is we can manually type it. Here 225 is greater than 220. So he has passed the examination. Bob is also passed the examination. So this fellow has failed the examination. So since this is very small data, we get able to find out who have passed the examination and who did not. But let's imagine, let me take another data. Let me show you. Imagine you have a data like this big. You have a data like this much big data is there. Suppose your school is having something around 200 to 300 students. So for them, how could you calculate? So if you keep on going to calculate, if you keep on manually writing pass, fail, so it would be very difficult. As you can see, all this you have to write it. So even some schools may be having something around 500 to 600 students. So it would be very much difficult, right? So there is one feature in Microsoft Excel called conditional clauses. What it does is generally takes the logic, it generally takes the condition, and based on the condition it will give the output in a particular cell that you choose. Suppose if this cell contains value which is greater than 220, automatically it will print pass here. If this cell contains value which is less than 220, it will automatically print fail here. So based on the condition we give, this is the condition, based on the condition we give to the Excel, it will calculate the values in a particular cell. So let us discuss how to convey our condition to Microsoft Excel. So I have already told you, if you wanted to start a communication with Excel, we have to start it with pressing equal to. So this is the way how we write our formulas in Excel. So after writing a formula, this is a simple, if you know simple English, if you know how to speak simple English, you can easily write formulas in Excel. These formulas are designed in such a way. For example, I'll write a formula. You can observe. I just start with if. I just open the braces by using tab key. Then here it is asking for the logical test, as you can see. Here the logical test is this cell should, if this cell is greater than 220, then now I have to press the comma to differentiate. Now if this cell is greater than 220, what should happen? If really it happens, if that cell is really greater than 220, I want pass to be printed there. Since pass is a string value, people from the programming language knowledge can know what is string. If you are not from the programming domain, I'll just explain you. See, 85, 78, 62, all these are numbers. Chaitanya, Krishna, Satya Sai Baba, Swami, Naveen, Shravani, all these are strings, like words. So if you are giving, if you are typing some words in formula, you have to use double quotes. This is a basic rule, thumb rule. So you have given, if this cell is greater than 220, you want pass to be printed in this cell. If this cell, what if this cell is less than 220? So you need not type the whole thing again. You can just press some comma and you can enter fail here. It automatically means if this cell is greater than 220, print pass here. If this cell is less than 220, print fail here. So here what is there? Here 255 is there. Since 255 is greater than 220, here the condition is satisfied. Whatever the condition you have given here, it got satisfied. Since the condition is satisfied, it will print false. Suppose in this cell, if it has only 200, then it will check. First the Excel will check if this cell is greater than 220. So here it is 255, so pass will be printed. Otherwise, if 220 is there or 200 is there, this condition is not satisfied, right? So pass will not be printed. It will bypass it and it will print fail in this cell, in the cell where we are writing the formula. So let us click enter here. Automatically, as you can see, each and every cell has got their respective statuses. You need not type it manually. So this is one way of writing conditional clauses. This is the simplest way of writing conditional clauses. And I can show you one thing here. See, as you can see, this formula, the status is dependent on this thing, total. Because you have taken reference from the total and you write the formula, right? So, and the total is dependent on these three things. So this is internal relationship between all the 5 cells. Is it right? Because to calculate the total, you have taken the sum of these 3 things. You have used this total as an input for the calculation of this status, right? So suppose if I change this mathematics score to 45, I can see my total has got changed to 215 from 255. So automatically my status has also got changed. This is what we call as cell referencing. So you got my point. Suppose once again I go here and I change this to 99. So automatically my total has got changed. Based on the total, my status has also got changed. So whenever there are any changes here, automatically your status will also get updated. This is one advantage of using conditional clauses. At the same time, this is one advantage of using cell referencing. So now I wanted to convey you one more most important technique of conditional clauses. That is, suppose I wanted to know, here this is not status, this is a pass condition. Otherwise I'll keep pass or fail. Here this is a condition, here this is a status. Any name you can put, but for easy understanding I am doing that. Suppose if management of particular school or college wants to know how many above average performance students are there, how many below average performing students are there. Imagine something, a college like Narayana or Chaitanya or some other IIT, JEE college is trying to figure out who and all are performing well, who and all are not performing well in their internal examinations. So they can concentrate more on the low performers, like that think. So see, there is a condition. ignore this below one for the time's sake. So just concentrate on the yellow highlighted one. If all subjects cross 80, then he is a high performer. Otherwise, he is a low performer. Here the condition is, if each mark, every mark in particular subject crosses 80. Suppose if max score crosses 80, English score crosses 80, science score crosses 80. Each thing should cross 80. Everything should cross 80. Then he'll be considered as a high performer. Otherwise, he will be considered as a low performer. Let us think this in this way. Suppose if you wanted to go to office, uh, you have decided that you have to go by bike. So you went to your bike, you started giving the ignition, then you raise your accelerator. Now tell me, these two things are mutually interconnected. Like if one thing misses, the other thing you cannot do. Like going to the office is the result. This result come from performing two actions compulsorily. The first thing is you have to on your bike by pressing the key, and here remember this word, and the second thing is you have to raise your accelerator. This is what you have to do. So these two conditions you have to satisfy it mandatorily to if you wanted to navigate to the office. I will give you another example. Suppose you are having 4 to 5 bikes in your veranda or your parking lot. Now you decided to go to office by bike, not by car. Now you are having how many options? So you may go by Honda Activa, or you may go by Pulsar, you may go by Bullet. Any kind of bike you can choose and you can travel by. So here the condition is or. In the previous instance the condition is and. So by using these two conditions, we can learn how to apply some conditional clauses in Excel. So for the time's sake, ignore this. I'm just concentrating, I'm just taking this condition. If all subjects cross 80, then high performer, otherwise low performer. How can you convey Microsoft Excel that in earlier instance it is very simple. If this cell crosses 220, print pass, otherwise fail. Now this thing you have to check for all these three things. So there are three conditions. Three conditions has to be satisfied simultaneously at the same time parallelly, then only your condition will get success. Otherwise it will get fail. Got my point? So now write if now instead of writing the formula as it is, I'll show you some simple trick. So just to know whether these three conditions are getting satisfied or not, I'll use a formula and I'll just make my functioning correct. I'll just check whether these three individually, these three cells are greater than 80. I'll just check it. So if I write the formula and I will write my first condition there, this thing should be greater than 80, comma, second condition, this thing should be greater than 80, comma, third condition, this thing should be greater than 80. As you can see, I have given all the three conditions. My first condition is this should be greater than 80. My second condition is this should be greater than 80. My third condition is this should be greater than 80. As you can see, this color is matching with this outline. This color is matching with this outline. This color is matching with this outline. So color code is given here. Now, if I press just enter by closing the bracket, as you can see, there are only two kinds of things are being presented here, true and false, which means that here all the cells you have given keyword unright. That means if all the three cells, each and every condition got satisfied, then only it will give true. Otherwise it will give false. As in the example I have quoted you, if you turn on the key and if you start giving the accelerator, then only the bike will move. Here also each and every fellow should cross 80, then only you will be given true here, otherwise false will be given. So what I'll do is I will pass if above this. I'll pass if above this. So for if this is the condition, this acts as a condition. So this whole thing acts as a condition. If all these things are greater than 80 combinedly, that's why we have given and here. So if everything got satisfied, print me high performer. Otherwise, give me low performer. These are so simple if you concentrate one more time. So there is an error crept here. So let us check what wrong did we do. So I have forgot to open braces here. Good. Now see, Excel automatically calculated the status of these students, whether they are high performers or low performers. So I think you did not get clarity on this. Once again, I'll explain you. Listen to me. So now what we are doing is, now we are just checking multiple conditions at the same time. In the previous instance, if this total crosses 220, then it is pass. Otherwise, it is fail. Now what happening is, we have to check 3 conditions at a time, and all the 3 conditions should qualify. Then only we can have something called as high performer. Otherwise, we should have something called as low performer. If any of such conditions is not satisfied, then low performer should be printed. I simply open if clause and start typing and here, and again open the braces. Now I go on typing the conditions. The first condition is this should be greater than 80, comma. The next condition, this should be greater than 80, comma. Next condition, this should be greater than 80, comma. I'll close the bracket because by this I have finished my condition. This is the condition. If this condition satisfies, what does this condition means? I have highlighted here. You can see this condition means all the 3 things should cross 80 individually. If that happens, print high performer. If that doesn't happen, print low performer. So this is how you should convey certain conditions to Microsoft Excel. So automatically it has given you. Now imagine there is one twist to this tale. Suppose school management decided this is very unfair because every subject if some fellow crosses 80, then only if we declare him as high performer, it is unfair. Because some students may be interested in some subjects, they may score well in that subject when compared to other subjects. Now principal came to you and asked you, even listen my words carefully. It's here he told you, even if he crosses one subject, even if he crosses 80 marks even in one subject, declare him as a high performer. So here what we have to do is, here individually we need not check for all these 3 things. We have to check for all these 3 things, but even from all these 3, like how can I see this is the condition, like what I have told you, right? You have 5 bikes. From 5 bikes, whichever bike you can choose, whatever the bike you can choose, you are qualified because everything is bike, right? In the same way, all need not be, each and every subject need not cross 80. Even if one from this lot crosses 80, then you are qualified. So instead of putting and, just simply convert this into or. See, this fellow is a high performer because in the previous instance he is a low performer because we have given the condition by using and. Now this fellow has become a high performer because 2 out of 3 subjects he has got more than 80 marks, right? In the same way here you can check 1 out of 2 subjects. So at least 1 out of 3 subjects he has to get 80. Then in our condition he will be qualified. This is how simply you can use if condition. You can use if condition with and or. Still if you did not get clarity, you can reach out to me. I can explain you in a much better way. So thank you. What my suggestion is, just watch this video once again Just try to do these simple exercises by opening an Excel sheet, then you can understand in a much better manner. If you did not understand it, if you are from a Telugu background, I recommend you. I am releasing simultaneously in the Telugu language as well. Go to the Telugu language video and you can watch that. So thank you very much. Have a great day. Enjoy your learning.